maybe we need to change the word for the youngsters. The checking in part, is they seem to get hung up on that word checking in.
Yeah.
So if we could diversify that word and bring it up to a 2021 thing.
Right. What's the word, OG? What's the word?
Maybe we may want to tell them they need to get connected.
Pick who he be fight with.
Right.
Like if you sit and you go, I'm not going because this.
Yeah.
Because niggas be throwing rocks and hiding their hand, right? They be throwing rocks and hiding their hand. And I don't like them kind of individuals.
The reason why you moved to Houston and everything.
Well, look, first of all, like every time I've experienced Houston, like when I was out here, I ran into random acts of kindness. Like the people have been good to me.
The same way, you know what I mean? My work ethic was crazy, 2 and 3 days, no sleep. And Mike Dean was one of the only ones that would stay woke. Track record and the type of person I am, when a person is family to me, friends to me, I'm down with them, then I will take that stand and let that be known.
J. Prince is fuming, and this time he's not playing it cool. 50 Cent just aired him out, pulling the curtains back on what could be Houston hip-hop's biggest hidden mess. We're talking rappers getting set up, jacked, and even taken out, right under the so-called mob ties protection that J. Prince claims to run with authority. But instead of staying quiet like most folks do, 50 Cent went straight savage mode. He said the things nobody else dared to speak out loud. And what he put out there, it's got people seriously rethinking everything they thought they knew about J. Prince. Now let's unpack this whole thing to see what really went down. Back to November 2022, there was a private event in Houston hosted by J. Prince Jr. Quavo and Takeoff rolled through thinking it was all love, but the night flipped real quick. Out of nowhere, Takeoff got shot right in the head while just standing there minding his business. He wasn't arguing, he wasn't causing drama, and still, he's the one who lost his life.
Maddie, come inside, Maddie.
And then, J. Prince Jr. was literally caught stepping over Takeoff's body. Like what? People saw it. And what did J. Prince Sr. do? He dropped this long-winded statement full of fancy words, but no real answers, no accountability, just smoke and mirrors. If checking in with mob ties is supposed to mean safety, how did it end like that?
Hey, mama, you ain't think about the family, nigga? We ain't said nothing. Ain't nobody said nothing but you niggas. You niggas, man, who y'all nigga think y'all nigga is? John got it, nigga? Ain't nobody going for none of that, bro. I ain't studying none of that shit y'all nigga talking about either.
Nothing should have happened. What do you say to that?
What I would say to that is, I have a track record, man, and the Prince family have a track record of 30 plus years of, honoring and loving on our guests and being with our guests, and no shit like this never happened. But here's the thing, and this is what people don't understand. We ain't never had nobody to attack us. If you know what I mean. When a man attack a situation with a weapon, then, it become a playing field where, any and everything goes. So that's what we're dealing with right here, and that's the root of this situation.
Nobody's buying that fake protection talk anymore. And get this, rewind just a few weeks before Takeoff's death. September 2022, Duke the Jeweler came down from Chicago to Houston, and he didn't make it back either. Duke the Jeweler came to Houston just trying to handle business, network a little, and flex some ice. He hit a dice game. That's where the vibes shifted. And guess who was in the mix? J. Prince Jr. Later that same night, Duke was ambushed on his way to the car. Police tried to pass it off as a robbery, but come on. It looked way too clean, way too perfect. Somebody knew exactly where he'd be and what he was carrying. Another dice game, another man gone, all while circling around the Prince crew. And here's the shady part. None of the Princes even pulled up to Duke's funeral, just like they skipped Takeoff's. By this point, people had stopped whispering and started saying it out loud. Maybe these so-called mob ties weren't protection. Maybe they were just smokescreens for setups, extortion, and backdoor plays. But it didn't stop there. Flashback to 2020, Benny the Butcher pulled up in Houston. Nothing wild, just a chill stop. He was supposed to link with folks, maybe shop around, take care of some biz, normal stuff. But as Benny was leaving a Walmart, hopping into a Sprinter van, 3 dudes rolled up, strapped, and tried to press him. He didn't move quick enough, and boom, Benny got shot in the leg. Now, to keep it real, this one wasn't directly linked to J. Prince or his sons. But that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. By now, Houston had built a reputation. Whether it was a dice game, a studio run, or a night out at the club, rappers kept getting robbed, lined up, or worse. And somehow, the Prince family always stayed untouched. Not a single charge, not a single public stain. And if you think that's as dark as it gets, it ain't. Back in 1998, Fat Pat got shot while collecting money after a performance. Then 8 years later, his brother Big Hawk was gunned down right outside a friend's crib. And in 2016, another Houston legend, 3-2, was shot and killed at a gas station. Houston's hip-hop scene has seen way too many funerals and way too few answers. The deeper you go, the messier it gets. It's like anyone trying to move on their own in Houston or even just outside the Prince circle somehow ends up silent, and through all the smoke and drama, J. Prince stays untouched. Every time. Then there's what went down in March 2018. J. Prince Jr. decided to throw a block party for his birthday. Sounded innocent, right? A little flex, some beats, good energy, and a bunch of known faces showing love. But by the end of the night, gunshots. A man and a teenage girl got hit when somebody started letting off rounds in the middle of the crowd. But here's where it gets crazier. It wasn't even the first time. 3 years before that, another one of Junior's birthday parties ended exactly the same way. Gunfire, people hurt, folks scrambling for safety. So let's break it down. 2 birthday parties, 2 shootings, and 0 accountability. No real explanation, no public apology, nothing. Just more chaos at a J. Prince Jr. event.
There's supposed to be a certain protocol for people to check in?
No, and I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But I'm a never, we don't have time for no sucker shit like that.
People love to call J. Prince a rap boss who made it the clean way, but let's not pretend we don't know better. Before Rap-A-Lot Records was even a thing, J. Prince was already sitting on crazy money, not industry starter cash. We're talking multi-millionaire status back in the 1980s. And let's be real, that kind of street-level paper don't stack up unless someone's moving big product. Allegedly. Word is, in the late 80s, J. Prince's name had already hit federal radar. The rumors? He had ties running deep, straight from Mexico up through Texas, Louisiana, even into Chicago, pushing heavy snow. That's around the same time he reportedly linked up with Larry Hoover, the founder of the Gangster Disciples. And that move? That allegedly locked in a pipeline from Houston straight to the Midwest. And then, boom, out of nowhere, Rap-A-Lot Records shows up on the scene. Coincidence? Most folks ain't buying that. From the outside, Rap-A-Lot looked like a golden ticket to put Houston talent on the map. But behind the scenes, a lot of folks believe it was just a clever way to wash street money clean. And the feds, they weren't asleep at the wheel. In 1988, the DEA launched a full-blown investigation into J. Prince and Rap-A-Lot for alleged trafficking and money laundering. They went all in, surveilling Prince's house, tapping phones, and even tailing his drivers, friends, and anyone tied to the crew. They built up a serious case, but then, poof, it all vanished, just like that. By the late 90s, the U.S. Attorney General dropped the entire thing. Why? Because J. Prince allegedly started dropping donations into Al Gore's presidential campaign. Yep, you heard that right. That same campaign was said to be fueled by big pockets, and some of that cash allegedly came from deep inside the Rap-A-Lot circle. And here's the twist that really gets people talking. Word is, Congresswoman Maxine Waters might have played a part in helping smooth out the whole situation. Now that's wild enough, but it gets even more twisted. J. Prince walks around like this father figure to the community type, preaching about leadership and loyalty. But some say the empire he built came off the backs of his own people, allegedly spreading poison through the streets and then using rap contracts and label deals to cover the dirt. And now we're right back in the present day. That same mob boss vibe Jay built back in the 80s, he's still riding off that power in 2024, intimidating rappers, pressuring celebs, and controlling who's allowed to move around without getting set up. And don't get it twisted, the Mob Ties brand went from being a Houston stamp to an industry-wide fear tool. Word on the street is J. Prince tried to strong-arm 50 Cent when he touched down in Houston years back. pressured him to fall in line with that check-in game the Prince family's known for, but 50 wasn't having none of it. And now he's airing it all out, calling attention to how many people connected to the Prince circle have either ended up robbed, dead, or both. He's not just talking wild, he's pointing fingers and backing it up. 50's saying what a lot of folks have only whispered, that mob ties might not be about protection, it might be about power moves, setups, and silent threats. And he's even throwing light on how J. Prince allegedly played both Drake and Kanye like pawns.
Idea of my father, seeing that it was connections to Drake and Kanye, and that they were such iconic figures, and with them going through things.
Remember that big reunion concert in late 2021? The one that was sold as some historic peace deal between Drake and Kanye? Let's be real, it didn't feel right. It looked staged. No real chemistry. It was cold, awkward, forced.
I'm making this video to address the ongoing back and forth between myself and Drake. Both me and Drake have taken shots at each other, and it's time to put it to rest.
And there's a reason for that. Behind the scenes, J. Prince was the one pulling the strings. He had one goal: use that moment to spotlight Larry Hoover. The same Larry Hoover he's been tied to since way back in the 80s, the same Hoover who allegedly helped Jay set up major routes moving product from the South to the Midwest. This concert wasn't about hip-hop unity, it was a power play, a reminder to the whole industry that J. Prince still calls shots.
Hoover Jr. was hanging with Kanye, and of course Drake is my son, and after getting the information, this was a wish of his. And you know, I had an opportunity to speak with both of the guys, and it wasn't easy because...
Let's not forget, Drake and Kanye had real beef. Diss tracks, social media jabs, leaks, it got personal. And yet, somehow, J. Prince had enough pull to sit them both down and get them on stage together. He even showed up in that stiff, bizarre video where Kanye read a peace statement off his phone like he was being held hostage. People watched it and knew something was off. But that Kanye video wasn't the only time folks felt something shady was happening behind the scenes. J. Prince's influence runs deep, and now more artists are quietly breaking their silence. There's talk that several rappers, big names, not just up-and-comers, were either pressured into loyalty or blackballed when they didn't play by J. Prince's rules. You don't align with mob ties, suddenly your shows get canceled, studio bookings disappear, features fall through, and worse, some artists have claimed they started getting strange threats, followed by random run-ins in Houston and Atlanta, all of it feeling a little too organized to be coincidence. And guess who keeps popping up in the mix? Jazz Prince. Yeah, the one credited with discovering Drake. He plays the low-key role, but behind the scenes, people say he's just as connected, just quieter about it. Some insiders claim he's the smoother face of the family hustle, while Jay Sr. handles legacy and Jay Jr. brings the chaos.
These people play with people intelligence the way they play with people intelligence and intellect. You know, the way they do today. You know, people are telling lies for a living. You know what I mean? They actually lying to y'all for a living, but
the whole operation starts to look more like a three-headed system. Control the artists, run the streets, and clean it up with industry clout. And every time someone tries to pull back the curtain, it gets real quiet, real fast. A few brave voices have spoken up, but they either fade into the background or vanish from the spotlight altogether. And now, with 50 Cent refusing to stay silent, that protective bubble around the Prince family might finally be cracking. More people are watching, more are questioning. The mob ties mystique is losing its grip, and for the first time, it's not just whispers in the street. It's loud, it's public, and it's shaking up the entire rap game. You could feel the tension through the screen. No cap. Drake barely said a word, just showed up, performed, and dipped. The whole vibe didn't scream reunion. It felt like a hostage scene with a soundtrack. And the reason behind it? Free Larry Hoover. Now look, we're not here to argue whether Larry should be free or not. That's a whole different convo, but let's keep it real. That concert wasn't about justice or healing. It was about power, about control, and about sending a message. So now that everything's laid out, let's ask the realest questions out loud. Is J. Prince really out here protecting artists or just owning them through fear and pressure? Was 50 Cent actually bold for speaking up? Or just the first one with enough clout to say what others been holding in for years? And how many more artists gotta end up hurt, robbed, silenced, or worse before the industry finally stops protecting this image J. Prince built up? When do we stop calling it respect and start calling it what it really looks like? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. I want to hear from everybody on this one. And if you're rocking with this level of real talk, make sure to like, share, and subscribe right now. Hit that bell too, so you never miss when we drop another deep dive that the industry wishes would stay buried. Because this is just the beginning. We're digging deeper, exposing more, and pulling the covers off everything they don't want you to see. Catch you in the next one.